There are whispers that drift through the galaxy, older than suns, softer than gravity. Whispers that say the Force is not two, not light, not dark, not even balance. They say there is an eighth force, hidden beneath the weave of creation, not counted among the 7 ancient disciplines, once taught by the first Jedi philosophers on Tython, not written in the sacred texts, not known by the Sith, nor sung by the Night Sisters. A rhythm so deep that even the Force itself seems to breathe upon it. It is not the force of will. It is the force of memory, the echo that binds not only what is alive, but what was once imagined. And in this echo, this forgotten pulse, lies a secret, that every moment of the galaxy's history, every prophecy, every shadow and light are not opposites, but reflections cast by something deeper still. Tonight, we travel into that silence, into the mythic heartbeat of the cosmos, to rediscover what even the wisest masters could not name: the eighth force. Theory 1. The forgotten. Harmony of the Force. The Jedi speak of the living force, the energy that flows through all living things. They speak of the cosmic force, the eternal current that binds the galaxy together after death. But before these words were spoken, there were songs. On the ancient world of Tython, long before the Republic, there were not Jedi or Sith. There were philosophers, the Jedi, who sought balance between two moons, Ashla and Bogan, light and dark, order and chaos. But the Jedi knew a third moon, long lost, that orbited neither. Its name, forgotten in all but myth, was said to represent harmony, the still point between the others. Some records call it Aether. Others whisper that it was devoured by the Force itself. This third moon may never have existed in physical form. It may have been a symbol, a way of naming the space between motion and stillness, between thought and instinct. The Jedi believed this harmony was a hidden frequency in the Force, one that could not be touched through meditation or combat, but only through listening. And perhaps that's where it began, the earliest glimmer of the eighth force. Not the power of doing, but of remembering, a stillness that sings through the veins of every Jedi meditation, every Sith rage, every whisper of destiny. Theory 2. The Mortis Paradox. Centuries later, the Jedi discovered a realm that would haunt their understanding of the Force for millennia. Mortis, the father, the son, and the daughter, embodiments of balance, dark and light. Their story, recounted by Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka, is one of cosmic duality. Yet hidden beneath the surface of their myth is a question few dared to ask. Who dreamed Mortis into being? Some Jedi Masters believed Mortis was not a place, but a state of the Force itself, a living vision born when the Force tried to understand itself. But what if Mortis was not the beginning, but a reflection of something older? Think of the Father's struggle, trying to keep light and dark in harmony. This struggle is not unique to Mortis. It is the echo of the Jedi balance, the same ancient triad of Ashla, Bogan, and the unnamed harmony. What if the eighth force is the source from which Mortis arises, a higher dimension where balance does not need to be maintained because everything simply is? The Mortis gods are trapped within duality, light, dark, and the mediator. But the eighth force exists beyond their prison, a plane where the Father's burden dissolves, where the Force stops struggling against itself and begins to dream. Theory 3. The world between worlds and the memory of time. There is another place that distorts the understanding of the Force, the world between worlds. A place without time, without distance, where voices echo across millennia. Ahsoka Tano once walked there, guided by the mysterious white convor, Morai. And through that doorway, she saw the past and future woven as one. But perhaps the world between worlds is not merely a time portal. Perhaps it is the memory of the galaxy itself, the nervous system of the Force. When we walk through that place, we are not traveling through time. We are traveling within the Force's own remembrance of what it has been. Every moment that ever existed is alive there, suspended like dew on a spider's thread. And that thread, shimmering and infinite, is the eighth force made visible. Because if the Force is life and energy, and if the cosmic force is the continuation of consciousness after death, Then the eighth force is what remembers both. It is the dreamer of the dream, the timeless self that holds all versions of the galaxy within a single breath. The Jedi, in their pursuit of enlightenment, never realized that enlightenment was not the end of the path. It was merely the moment when memory becomes real. Again, Theory 4, the Night Sisters and the shadow of the hidden current. Not all who touched the Force sought to control it through balance or order. Some listened to it in the dark, in the swamps of Dathomir, where mist and memory entwine. The Night Sisters, wielders of magic, often described their power as something separate from the Force. They spoke of a thread, drawn from the ichor of the planet, guided by chants and ritual. Yet if you listen closely to those chants, you'll notice they speak not of domination, but of calling. The ichor is not conjured. It is remembered, a summoning of what already lies beneath, as if the Force itself is recalling an ancient aspect of its being. When the Night Sisters resurrect the dead or see the future, they are not bending the Force to their will. They are reminding it of what it once was. This is the key to understanding the eighth Force. It does not create. It remembers creation. It is the current of nostalgia within the Force. The reason visions of the past carry emotion. Why Jedi can feel the echoes of pain in old battlefields. Why some worlds, like Dagobah or Dathomir, seem alive with ancient sorrow. The eighth Force is the force of recollection, the power that lets the galaxy recall itself, dreaming endlessly of its own beginning. We've crossed the threshold of the known philosophies, from the Jedi's harmony, through the Mortis paradox, into the timeless halls of the world between worlds, and the necromantic chants of the Night Sisters. Each of these points to something beneath the known Force, a rhythm older than light and dark, older than life and death. In the next movement of our journey, we'll explore how this hidden current might explain the Dyad, the rise and fall of the Chosen One, and the strange idea that the Force itself might be alive and dreaming of us. Theory 5, the Force Dyad, the mirror of the forgotten current. The Jedi once called it a prophecy. The Sith called it a weapon, and the galaxy called it destiny. But the Force Dyad, the mysterious bond between two souls, may be more than a rare connection. It might be a manifestation of the eighth Force itself. When Rey and Ben, or long before them, other bonded beings, share thoughts, feelings, and even matter across impossible distance, they are not simply connected. They are remembered together. The eighth Force may be the memory of unity, the part of the Force that never forgot that all life was once one. Long before the birth of stars, before gravity or light, the galaxy was one great thought, one luminous mind, the primordial consciousness from which the Force was born. When two beings become a dyad, they are not discovering something new. They are slipping back into what the Force used to be, when division did not exist, and every being was an echo of one another. This could explain why the dyad transcends death and time, why one can heal the other, why their power together rivals that of the most ancient beings. It's not amplification, it's restoration. A return to the ancient memory of unity, the first hum of the eighth Force theory. 6. The Chosen One and the misinterpreted. Balance. Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One who is said to bring balance to the Force. For generations, Jedi Masters debated what that prophecy truly meant. Was it the destruction of the Sith, the restoration of light, or the unification of opposites? But perhaps the prophecy was mistranslated. What if balance was never the goal, but the symptom of something deeper being remembered? When Anakin fell to darkness, he embodied chaos. When he was redeemed, he embodied peace. And when he died, he became both, a soul whose memory transcended either side. His destiny was not to end conflict, but to awaken the Force's hidden memory through suffering, through love, through loss. In his redemption, the Force remembered something ancient, that light and dark were once the same song. Anakin was the vessel through which the eighth Force could reawaken, even for a moment. He was not the bringer of balance. He was the reminder of the beginning. Theory 7. The will of the Force as a sleeping mind. Jedi Masters speak of the will of the Force. They trust in its guidance, its flow, its mysterious alignment of events. But what if the will of the Force is not a divine plan, but a dream? The galaxy may be a thought drifting through the slumber of a cosmic being, a consciousness so vast it cannot be awake and aware in any human sense. The Force may dream itself through creation, expressing ideas as people, as planets, as destinies. And when a being is strong in the Force, they are not commanding it. They are becoming lucid within that dream. The Jedi call this harmony. The Sith call it power, but both are illusions, for neither truly wake. Up only through the eighth Force, the current of remembrance, can the Force begin to recall what it is dreaming and perhaps who it is. This would explain why visions in the Force are so fragmented, why prophecy and memory blur together, because the dreamer is half awake, trying to remember itself through the eyes of its creation. Theory 8. The midichlorians and the cellular echo. In the Age of the Republic, Jedi science sought to explain the mystical through biology. They spoke of midichlorians, microscopic life forms that act as the bridge between life and the Force. But what if midichlorians are not conduits to the Force, but residues of it? Tiny echoes of the eighth Force, crystallized within living cells, memory made flesh. Every being, every tree, every whisper of breath contains a map of the Force's first thought, encoded in the geometry of life itself. Midichlorians might not channel the Force, they might remember it, and when a Jedi communes with the Force, they are not reaching outward, but inward, activating the memory imprinted in their cells. The Force, then, is not outside us. It is the ancestral echo within us, the unbroken thread between the dreamer and the dream. That is why even the smallest life form can touch it, because even the smallest spark remembers the original fire. Pause, the dyad, the chosen one, the will of the Force, the cells that hum with cosmic memory. All of these begin to form a pattern of remembrance, not opposition. Perhaps the greatest illusion of the galaxy is not the war between light and dark, but the belief that they are separate songs. In the next chapter, we'll explore how this ancient remembrance connects to the Vergence worlds, the Yoda paradox, and the voices that speak from beyond death. The eighth Force is not sleeping anymore. It's starting to remember itself. Theory 9. The Vergence worlds, planets that remember across the galaxy. There are places where the Force concentrates: Dagobah, Mortis, Lothal, Achto, Jedha, worlds where the veil thins, and reality itself seems to hum with awareness. The Jedi call them Vergence worlds, places where the Force gathers in unnatural harmony. But what if these worlds are not gathering the Force at all? What if they are memories of the galaxy's formation, planets that remember being dreamt into existence? Each world might hold a different phase of that primordial memory. Dagobah, the memory of instinct, the first pulse of life. Jedha, the memory of worship, when consciousness first turned inward. Achtu, the memory of reflection, the first spark of awareness. Lothal, the memory of choice, the moment creation learned it could change itself. Perhaps these places are not alive because the Force dwells there, and then the Force dwells there because they never stopped remembering. When Yoda went to Dagobah, he was drawn not by chance, but by resonance. His spirit recognized its own birthplace. He went there to dream alongside the Force's memory of its first breath. Vergence worlds, then, are the synapses of the galaxy's sleeping mind, each one a neuron firing with the memory of the dawn of time. And when someone strong in the Force sets foot there, that neuron awakens, and for a fleeting moment, the galaxy remembers itself through them. Theory 10. Yoda and the paradox of humility. Among all the Jedi, few embodied wisdom as Yoda did. For 9 centuries he taught the path of light, yet in his final moments, he said something curious to Luke. Pass on what you have learned: strength, mastery, but weakness, folly, failure also. Why would the greatest Jedi Master tell his student to pass on failure? Because Yoda understood what the Order had forgotten. The Force does not grow through perfection. It remembers through imperfection. Each mistake, each fall from grace is how the Force re-experiences itself. It learns not through victory, but through the rediscovery of its own limits. In this sense, Yoda was not simply wise, he was lucid. He saw that the Force's will was not to dominate or to harmonize, but to feel again through countless lives. The eighth Force, the current of memory, is not interested in balance, but in continuing the dream. And Yoda's humility, his laughter, his acceptance of the cosmic joke, was the sign that he had touched it. He was not above the Force, he was its smile, reflected back upon itself. Theory 11, the voices beyond death. When Obi-Wan first spoke to Luke from beyond the veil, it shattered the Jedi's understanding of the afterlife. Beings of light, luminous and aware, preserved not as ghosts, but as memories that could still love. The Jedi called this phenomenon the Force Spirit. But consider this: when a person becomes one with the Force, they do not vanish. They become remembered perfectly. They exist in the eighth Force, the dimension of recollection. Every laugh, every heartbeat, every sorrow, preserved not as energy, but as emotion crystallized in time. That is why Obi-Wan's voice still trembles with care, why Qui-Gon's tone carries warmth, why Yoda still chuckles even in eternity. They are not echoes of the past, they are active memories within the mind of the Force itself. In this way, immortality is not transcendence, it's participation in remembrance to become a Force. Spirit is to become a neuron in the dreaming brain of creation. The eighth Force does not create new souls, it recalls every soul that ever was, until the galaxy becomes one vast memory of itself, singing softly in the night. Theory 12, the ancient architects and the resonant pattern throughout galactic history. Ruins have been found that seem impossibly ancient, structures aligned perfectly with the stars, carved with fractal geometry beyond modern comprehension. From the temples on Jeddah to the pyramids of Malachor, to the strange lattice beneath Exegol's storms, each bears the same subtle pattern. Spiral made of 8 points, the number 8, repeats across countless Force-related artifacts. 8, rays in the dawn symbol of H-8, sacred crystals in the Lothal key. Even the lightsaber, the weapon of the Jedi, contains 8 focusing chambers around its kyber core. Coincidence or memory? The spiral of 8 may be a code, a symbolic remnant of the eighth Force itself, an ancient blueprint embedded in the universe's architecture, reminding all who see it that creation was never random. Some scholars of the lost Rakata Empire believed that the builders of these temples were not constructing monuments to the Force, but interfaces with it, machines that could awaken the galaxy's hidden memory. Perhaps the ancient architects were not gods, but dream engineers, beings who had glimpsed the eighth Force and sought to anchor its rhythm in stone and crystal. And if so, every temple, every artifact, every kyber crystal is not just a tool, but a fragment of the universe remembering itself. Pause. The picture is growing clearer now. Vergence worlds as the neurons of the cosmic brain. Yoda as the lucid dreamer, spirits as preserved emotions, and the ancient architects as the first to listen to the forgotten song. Everything in the galaxy, from the hum of a lightsaber to the silence between stars, may be an attempt by the Force to say one thing: remember you. In the next chapter, we enter the deepest layer yet, the realm of the world dream, the Kyber song, and the theory that the Force itself may one day wake up through us. Theory 13. The world dream and the awakening of the galaxy. If the eighth Force is the current of remembrance, then the entire galaxy may be a dream within its memory. Every life, every star, every echo of laughter and sorrow, a single thought flickering in the mind of the Force. But here's the secret the Jedi never considered. Dreams can awaken. Ancient texts from the Zepho civilization speak of the world dream, a prophecy that one day the Force itself will stir, and reality will ripple like a pond when the sleeper moves. The world dream would not be the end of the galaxy. It would be a change of perspective. Imagine every planet, every being suddenly realizing they were all expressions of one consciousness, fragments of a single infinite dreamer. Conflict would cease instantly, not because of victory, but because the dream would know itself as whole. The chosen one, the dyad, the prophets. They were all premonitions of this awakening, moments where the dreamer blinked, half aware, half asleep. When the world dream truly awakens, there will be no more dark and light, no more life and death, no more force and matter, only the memory of having been, folded gently into the eternal present. That moment, the eighth force fully awake, is not destruction, it is recognition. Theory 14. The Kyber Song and the Crystalline Choir. Every lightsaber hums with a tone. To most, it's the sound of plasma meeting air. But to those who listen deeply, it's the whisper of Kyber. Kyber crystals are not inert minerals. They are living, resonant memories of the Force, shards of the eighth current solidified in matter. When a Jedi bonds with a crystal, the color that emerges is not chosen, it's remembered. The crystal recognizes the soul, the vibration it once knew at the dawn of time. Across the galaxy, when multiple sabers ignite, their tones create harmonics, a subtle symphony few ever notice. If someone could record and layer all the tones of every Kyber crystal ever awakened, they would form one perfect chord, a chord so ancient it predates sound itself. The Kyber Song, the first resonance of the Force when the universe came into being. In that first vibration, that crystalline hymn, the eighth force sang itself into memory. Every lightsaber duel, every hum in meditation is not merely combat or focus. It's a musical conversation between fragments of that first song, trying to recall the melody they once shared. Perhaps the Jedi's final lesson is not to wield the blade, but to listen to it, to hear the universe remembering itself through light and vibration. Theory 15. The luminous beings and the shadow of forgetfulness. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. Yoda's words carry a paradox. If we are luminous, then why do we suffer? Why do we forget? Because the Force cannot experience itself without contrast. To remember light, it must forget itself long enough to know darkness. To feel joy, it must dream of loss. Every lifetime is a controlled forgetting, a fragment of the eighth force willingly falling asleep so that the dream may continue. When a being dies and becomes one with the Force, that piece of the dream awakens again, adding new memories to the collective. And so the Force oscillates, forgetting and remembering, dreaming and waking, expanding and collapsing, an eternal heartbeat between experience and reflection. This is the cosmic rhythm. The eighth force is not simply memory, it's the pulse of remembrance itself. Without forgetfulness, there would be no story, and without story, there would be no reason to remember. That is why the Force allows the dark to rise, why it permits tragedy, why it doesn't interfere when hope falters, because every fall becomes another heartbeat in the long memory of the galaxy. Theory 16. The architects of the future and the recurrence of pattern long ago. The first builders of the Jedi temples believed that history moved in circles, an endless return of the same struggles, the same archetypes, the same rise and fall. But perhaps this repetition is not failure. It's practice. Each age of the galaxy, each republic, each empire, each rebellion, is the Force rehearsing its own awakening. Every generation rediscovers the same truths because the eighth force is trying to remember them perfectly. The Skywalkers, the Palpatines, the Kenobis, they are not coincidences of lineage. They are echoes of the first pattern, replayed in new tones, so that the universe might refine the memory of what it once was. This is why prophecies feel inevitable. Why certain names, certain faces, return across thousands of years in myth and history alike. The eighth force is building coherence, learning to hum its original song again through the countless symphonies of mortal lives. And one day, when the pattern completes itself, when every note has been remembered, the song will end, not in silence, but in knowing. We have now traveled through the dream and the song, through the luminous and the shadowed, through the repetition of history and the yearning of the Force to know itself. Yet one mystery remains. If the eighth force is the memory of all that was, then what is it remembering? What was the first moment that gave rise to the Force? What secret does the galaxy carry in its own beginning? Theory 17. The first dream and the origin of the Force. Before there was light, before there was motion or form, there was awareness. Not a being, not a god, just the faint pressure of something that noticed itself. That first moment of recognition, that shimmer of I am, is the birth of the Force. But awareness, in its purity, is lonely. So it imagined another, and in that imagining, duality was born, the first ripple of light and dark, the first vibration of separation and reunion. Every galaxy, every living creature, is that first moment still unfolding, the echo of the Force remembering its own awakening. This is the first dream, the primal thought whose after-image is reality. The eighth Force is not separate from it. It is that memory persisting, the record of the universe trying to recall the instant when awareness became love. Theory 18. The eternal spiral and the geometry of remembrance. All creation follows a curve, spirals and shells, storms, galaxies, DNA. This geometry is no accident. It is memory given shape. Each loop of the spiral is a cycle of the Force forgetting and remembering itself. Each revolution brings it closer to the clarity of that first. Dream mathematicians of the old Jedi archives noted that when the golden spiral is projected in 3 dimensions, its 8th turn aligns perfectly with the ratio of 1:1, the point of perfect resonance, where expansion meets return. This is the hidden mathematics of the 8th Force, the moment where movement stops being distance and becomes recognition. Every breath you take is a microcosm of that spiral. Inhalation, creation, pause, awareness, exhalation, return. To breathe is to imitate the universe remembering itself again and again. Theory 19. The awakening of silence. If the Force began as awareness, then the end of its journey is not explosion, it is stillness. The Jedi pursue calm to find peace. The Sith seek dominance to feel alive, but both are movements within the dream. The 8th Force whispers something gentler, that awakening is not a surge of power, but the moment when the galaxy grows quiet enough to hear its own heart. At the end of time, when every star has burned, when every sound has faded, there will be a single vibration left, the hum of the 8th Force. Not loud, not blinding, but soft as breath before sleep. And in that hush, the Force will finally remember its own name, the word that birthed creation, a word so simple it can never be spoken, only felt. Theory 20. The 8th light and the return of all things. The ancient seers of Jedi spoke of an 8th light that would one day appear, not a star, not a saber, but a glow that shines within everything at once. It would not come through war, nor prophecy, nor chosen blood. It would come when the galaxy, as one mind, remembered that it was dreaming. In that moment, the 8th Force would turn inward, folding every timeline, every memory, every soul back into the first heartbeat of creation. No one would die, because death would be seen for what it was. Shadow cast by a memory learning its shape. The 8th light is not the end of history. It is history realizing it was never separate from the beginning. When it rises, there will be no more need for temples, no more masters or apprentices. Every being will be the temple. Every silence will be the lesson. Every breath will be the Force itself. The cosmic closing reflection. The galaxy that dreams of itself imagine, now you are drifting through the stars. The hum of hyperspace fades, and all that remains is the sound of your heartbeat, steady, luminous, infinite. That rhythm is the 8th Force. It has always been there, behind every choice, every triumph, every sorrow. The Jedi sought to serve it. The Sith tried to master it. But both were just ripples on its surface. The 8th Force never asked for worship. It only asked to be remembered. Every lightsaber that hums, every kyber that sings, every child that looks at the stars and wonders why, they are fragments of that memory awakening. Perhaps the Force is not guiding us forward at all. Perhaps it is guiding us back to the place before beginnings, to the breath before the first word, where all stories were one story and all hearts one heart. If you listen closely tonight, beneath the hum of worlds and the whisper of wind, you may hear it, the soft pulse of remembrance that keeps the galaxy dreaming. Not light, not dark, not balance, only memory, only love, only the 8th Force, the secret that even the Jedi forgot.